It was an early noon at the Fluttershy's cottage. She had just taken care of her animal friends when she realized she was running low on animal food, and she decided to go into Ponyville to buy some more food. And then she even realized, thinking about if she would go to buy something else. She decided to buy some carrots for Angel. After she had bought the things she needed at the market, and on her way back to leave the market, she ran into some pony. She immediately apologized and she heard a voice that she never heard before. It was a stallion. When she looked up, it was a stallion that she had never seen before, and he said his name was Whiteheart. Had just moved to Ponyville for about a week ago, and he helped her to pick up her bags, and they small talk for only a few minutes, and she apologized for him that she needed to go back home and some other things for her animal friends. And but he said that he hoped to maybe see her some other time again. Maybe they can maybe get to know each other better and be friends. And even when Fluttershy came back home, she started thinking about Whiteheart. He was quite handsome, very friendly, and there was something about him that she couldn't put it though. The next day, Fluttershy went to Twilight's castle for tea party with her friends. They were talking about random things when Applejack brought up the topic about Whiteheart. Apparently, Whiteheart used moved to Ponyville about a week earlier when he used to live in Trottingham. He was very skilled magic, said Twilight, and he was good in teaching in magic. She had even offered him a position at the School of Friendship as magic teacher, along with Starlight and Trixie, and he had actually accepted the offer. They were even just talking about his character. They he was always friendly, always helping around the town. He even had helped at with Big Macintosh, at the farm with some of the harvesting the apples when Applejack and Applebloom was even there. He was quickly became friends with the Apple family, even Rarity's family. There was something about him that he made was very unique. He was very friendly. But there was something about him that Fluttershy couldn't put it though. When they asked Fluttershy if she had met Whiteheart, she said yes, that she met him at the market the day before, and when they used a small talk for only a few minutes. They continued the tea party, and later that afternoon, after they all had went home or went to different places, Fluttershy actually went to Sugar Cube Corner with Pinky. Pinky was just happy to know him, that she had just recently threw a welcome party for Whiteheart. She was really happy to get a new friend and always happy to get introducing other ponies to new, especially to Whiteheart. Even though that Fluttershy wasn't listening much closely to what Pinky said, she was on her own thoughts about especially Whiteheart. There was something about it that she couldn't put it. But later, though, that same afternoon, when Fluttershy was about to feed some of her animal friends, she heard a knock on the door. She opened it, and it was Whiteheart. Whiteheart was standing there next with having a dog next to him, and it turned out he been asked had been directed to Fluttershy from Applejack, who had not been told that she can talk to animals, and that his dog wasn't seem to be feeling well, and Dr. Fauna, in the local vet, who was busy at the moment, so he had been asked to see Fluttershy. She talked to his dog, and it turned out that she was not happy to having this particular food, and that she really wanted to have something else. So when Fluttershy gave some of the food that she had, she Whiteheart's dog ate it all quickly. He thanked her for her help, and it turned out that Fluttershy even gave some of the dog food to him, just in case if she need want to have something more of it. But it was something else. He'd even ask her if she maybe wanted to do something someday. Maybe having something to eat or just maybe take a walk with his dog or something. And of course, she said yes. So for the next couple of days, they actually went on a small walks with his dog, and they just get to know each other more and more. Even though that Fluttershy still were very shy around him. She didn't speak much at first, but after that they get to know each other a bit more. She slowly opened up more to him, and everything seems to be quite happy between them. But until one sadly day, it turned out one morning when Whiteheart was going to wake up his dog to get some food, she didn't wake up. And it turned out she had passed away during her sleep. And he took it very hard. He couldn't even believe it. His dog was his best friend. She had been with him for so many years. She was in fact about 20 years old, and he loved his dog. When Fluttershy was told from Applejack about this, she was devastated. She could see how much pride his dog gave to Whiteheart. And after his dog had passed, he was not the same. Always unhappy, always sad, always sitting at the park or just walking by himself. Even though that Applejack or some of their friends maybe had offered, maybe that he could find some other pet to have. But he said nothing could replace his dog, since he had her for so many years. And that is something Fluttershy could realize how it's like. Since Fluttershy and Angel have been friends for many years herself, she could realize if that would have happened to Angel, she would have felt the same thing. So even that she haven't lost a dear friend as Angel, but she could feel the same pain as what Whiteheart was going through. She had even offered him to have some emotional support, and she even offered him to come over to her cottage for some tea when at any time when he liked. He took the offer, but it did actually take nearly about a week before he decided to go to see her. At first, she still seemed that he was very unhappy. She tried to maybe to have some of her animal friends like Harry the bear, the angel, some other animal friends she had to maybe try to cheer him up, like with some tricks, maybe doing some funny things. It seems to be working, but at the same time, he was still very unhappy to be had lost his friend. And Appleton, Fluttershy though, she told him that she realized nothing that anything that she do perhaps would even cheer him up as the same thing. But she did tell him that his dog would always be in his heart, and that he will should and that he always should remember the good, funny moments when he had with his dog. Especially now when he's very unhappy, to always remember the good times that he had with his dog when she was young, and focus on those good memories to make him happy. And he promised to be trying that. A couple of days later, Fluttershy was in town, and she saw him at the park, and for the first time for quite some time, he seemed to be happy. And she asked how he felt, and he said, smiled, and said that he was just feeling happy again. He remembers her idea, and it helped him. For quite some time now he felt happy again. He thanked her, and then he asked her something. If she wanted maybe to go out with him on an official date. That surprised Aunt Fluttershy, because no pony had asked her out ever. But she didn't want to say no or something. Because she believed if she said no, it would make him unhappy again. So she said yes. And what she didn't know, this would end up as a new start and even a new chapter in both their lives. They went on a picnic for the first date. And even though that Fluttershy had no idea what to do, because she didn't mention this date to her friends, because she wanted to have it a secret for some time being. Just she thought maybe this was a more as a friends having a picnic, but it turned out to be a romantic one. But after that, she learned some of the things from what her friends had told her earlier. When they went on their dates, they had told her what they did and what they talked about, sort of things. And after the first date, she even asked him what he thought about the date, and he said that he had a great time. He really loved this date, and he wished they could go on more. So for the next couple of weeks, they actually went on more dates. Sometimes they had a romantic dinner at his place or at her cottage, or at some picnics from now and then. But they kept their dating secret from her friends. After they'd been dating for about 2 months, they became official couple. And then they told her friends, and they were all surprised, especially Pinky. She said that she normally would find out something like this earlier, but somehow Fluttershy had kept this secret so well keeps guarded secret. Not even her friends had no idea about it. But Rarity and even Applejack were just happy to see that Fluttershy was happy with some pony. So there were even some points in there during their dating when Fluttershy was asked by Whiteheart if she wanted to go to Trottingham to see his parents, just to visit them for the first time. Even they had only been dating for about 6 months by that point. At that point, even if Fluttershy was really nervous, she didn't want to go. But doing so, not reacting idea, he thought maybe that she believed if she would say that to him, she believed that maybe that he thought she didn't want to be with him, only being dating him because to make him happy. But she luckily agreed to go to Trondheim with him. Even though that on the train she was a little bit acting a bit nervous, but even Whiteheart said to her that there's not had to be worried. His parents are very kind and has always been that to all of his friends and others. When they arrived at Trottingham, it turned out his father was waiting for them at the train station. And when he met Fluttershy for the first time, he looked at her and looked at his son and said that his son has a very beautiful girlfriend and very sweet, kind personality. For some reason, that Whiteheart's father somehow could sense the personality from a pony. And the very first expression from Fluttershy to his father was really good sign. And even good from that even his mother loved the personality and even her how kind the Fluttershy were to his son. Even that they know how much how much Fluttershy was there for their son after his dog had passed. Even at the first meeting with Whiteheart's parents, things was getting up much better. But then something did happen. Only about a short time after their first meeting with his parents, there was time to meet Fluttershy's parents. But since he was a unicorn and they lived in Cloudsdale, they couldn't go there. So they had to come to Pulney, which they didn't mind. Even though that Sapphire Breeze, her brother, wanted to like to come, but he couldn't. He was busy with his main stylist career in Manhattan. But even her parents was really accepting to be part of that, hoping that Whiteheart to be part of the family. Even her mother had asked if there would be any considerable wedding in sometime soon, which both Fluttershy and Whiteheart almost choked on its tea and looked at her mother and said, "Mom, that is too early." And even though that Whiteheart was just shocked a little bit and nervously saying, "Well, we haven't even talked about that yet. Maybe perhaps one day if we are together that long." Even though the first meeting with her parents turned out to be a good success, but there was something about their mention about the wedding. Whiteheart somehow had hoped maybe one day to be married with Fluttershy, but he knew that he couldn't ask her the question as yet, because they had only been dating for nearly about 7, 8 months at a point. And it was way too early for them to even consider being dating or perhaps taking the next step in marriage. Because they didn't know if they would be together even for almost a year later or something. But both had agreed if they were end up being dating much longer, passing it for a few years, maybe then they could be talking about maybe as marriage and perhaps a family. Even though that Fluttershy's mother had said that she loved to have a grandchildren or something. Even though that she said, if I don't have grandchildren, then my brother might be having a family of his own before me. Which both her parents looked at each other and smiled, perhaps, if we find a girlfriend by the time. Even though Fluttershy and Whiteheart had been dating for about 2 years, but they still didn't live together. Fluttershy wanted to stay at her college, which Whiteheart didn't mind to that later. But after being dating for about 3 years, Fluttershy had asked Whiteheart if he wanted to live in with her in a college, since he lived in a small apartment in town, and every time when he was spending night at her cottage, every morning he felt really relaxed and fully rested, and he decided to say yes. Even though that they were some points when they had small arguments. They were not much as yelling or something, just they had the small discussions, more like small discuss, argue, but where to put some his things and where to put her things in the house, like that. But he always worked it out. Even Rainbow had did mention to him that if he hurt her heart, break her heart, he will break his leg. But even though that Rainbow was just joking, but he did know that. But he never wanted to do so, because his love for Fluttershy only grew stronger for each single day. But one of her friends, Discord, he had told Whiteheart. He said after the first meeting, after they had been just dating for about as 4 months, saying to him, "If you break her heart, I will banish you to a different dimension, as for promise." And even though Fluttershy did try to say to him, to Whiteheart, that Discord would never do so, but Whiteheart has some sense that maybe Discord would do that. Even Discord just after that he said, "Oh, just kidding with you. I would never so harm any one of my best friend's new friends." But even there were some sense in that. But Fluttershy's new boyfriend, Whiteheart, could not take that risk. Even there were some times when he wondered, what the life would have been without if he had never met Fluttershy in the first place. But after they've been dating for about another 2 years, then he decided to take the big question. He took her to the park where they was having just a good time when he popped the big question if she wanted to marry him. It didn't take a second for her to answer, and she said yes while she was crying. Even the friends was well excited. When the both families was told, they were equally happy. Even though that Pinky threw a big party to celebrate this engagement party, even that Fluttershy and Whiteheart preferred to not have this a big celebration, but did they likely agree to do so. Even after this, Fluttershy had taken Rarity to be her bridesmaid, and Whiteheart had been chosen to take Big Mac as his best man. They actually went to Las Vegas for about a whole week for a honeymoon. And even though they had a great time, but barely 3 years later, Fluttershy announced to her friends and her family she was pregnant. And everybody was really happy. But when she said and mentioned that she was having twins, that shocked her parents. Because there hasn't been any twins in her family since her great 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 grandmother. For 3 generations back, there's twins. They were really happy for that. But they didn't even know they were going to expect to have twin daughters of all. When Whiteheart was told that he was going to be a father, he was happy. But when he was told about twins, he fainted twice. Even his parents was really excited, but when they was told twins, his mother was super excited. But his own father fainted also because of big shock news. But Rainbow, she was really happy to see that Bloodshot's going to have a family of her own soon. And a few months later, they had twin daughters. Even a lot of the things between Fluttershy and Whiteheart have proven them things be true. Both Fluttershy and Whiteheart could not have been more happier to have two daughters of their own. Even if Fluttershy never had encountered Whiteheart at the market, she would never have found a true love with him and having this amazing family with him. Even though that both of them was really happy to be with the pony they loved the most. And this is how Fluttershy and Whiteheart from a true love got a big family. The end.